If your body is stuck in fight, flight, or freeze, it does not matter how amazing your product lineup is. It doesn't matter how strategic your marketing is. It also does not matter how clean and sustainable your space is. If you are living in a state of constant stress, your business is going to reflect that. So we are going to talk about that on the podcast today. Welcome back to the Impactful Salon Owners Podcast. I'm your hostess, Jacquelyn Rodriguez, a clean beauty salon owner, holistic business coach, and founder of the Holistic Salon Academy, and co-founder of the Green Beauty Community. And today we are going to talk about something that really no one has taught us in cosmetology school, in business coaching programs, or even in life, really. But it does really affect every single part of your salon growth. It's your nervous system. And I remember years and years ago, I was doing everything right. I had fully booked clientele. All of my clients were loyal. We were on a clean and sustainable trajectory. Everything was great. In terms of we were making money, we were busy, we were successful, but I was exhausted. I was not only physically exhausted, but mentally and emotionally, I was tapped out. There were days where I'd walk into my salon and feel this tightness in my chest before I even started. I honestly didn't even have to walk into the salon. I just felt anxious and stressed out all the time. But I didn't feel like I could say anything, because what would I even say? I'm feeling anxious, but I'm doing okay. I'm stressed out, but we're successful. And I really just thought it was me until I realized it wasn't. A ton of other salon owners and business owners that I talked to felt the same way. Especially those business leaders who cared, who had holistic, cleaner, sustainable salons or businesses, because they were so tapped in to everything around them that they were over exhausting themselves. They were burnt out, overstimulated, and it was like all of that weight was holding them down and wearing them out. That's exactly how I felt. I really felt so overstimulated. So if you have ever said to yourself, I can't enjoy my success because I'm so tired. I have a vision, but no energy to make it happen. I feel like I'm stuck in a loop of reacting instead of leading or just enjoying life. This episode is definitely for you, because clean beauty, my term of clean beauty, isn't just about switching your products. This is where the holistic part comes in. It's about switching your operating system. Your nervous system is your foundation. And when it is dysregulated, you make decisions from fear, scarcity, and urgency. You say yes when you mean to say no. You overbook because you don't trust that the money will be there otherwise. You avoid leadership conversations because conflict feels dangerous and you just can't handle it. But when your nervous system is supported, you will feel clear. You trust the process. You make aligned, empowered decisions. And then you finally have the space to lead. And that is when your business growth actually feels good. So this isn't just about self-care, right? Taking a bubble bath, going to the spa. This is more about building your calendar and your systems and your client flow and just all the day-to-day stuff around your capacity and what feels good for you. So this is what it can look like, right? Spacing out appointments so that you have time to breathe. Saying no to last-minute requests without guilty feelings, like not trying to shove people into your calendar. Curating your menus so that it reflects your energy, not just your trends, right? That this is looking at, do you actually want to be working really early or staying really late? and squeezing all those people in. And you want to choose slow, intentional growth over frantic scaling. Creating these rituals before and after your clients, like in between your clients, and then to start the day off and to end the day to regulate your nervous system. Now, this is not just applicable to you as a salon owner. This is also how you get to lead your stylist, right? So instead of doing one thing for yourself because you're so overwhelmed, this is something that you get to teach your stylist to actually incorporate into their systems daily so that they're not overexhausted mentally, physically, emotionally, and they have time to breathe. And, one of my mentors, Britt Steva, always says that it's leaving room for magic, right? That's that leaving the room for your stylist, yourself, to be able to actually think when you're in an appointment, actually be able to change and maybe, shift and change things up a little bit, or talk to your client and be able to create an add-on for them that feels easy, and you are not just trying to squeeze it in, but it is something that allows you to just have that breathing room in the appointment. And then we're talking about before and after, but you have to set up your systems to be able to do this. And that's the important part. But how do you even start to set up your systems? Like, that is where we have to go and look at. How do you set these systems up so that you're not just on the go and you're not ending your night in tears, and not because anything went wrong, but you just feel completely exhausted at the end of the day? That is when you get to decide, and we get to look at different systems for your business that really work around your nervous system so that you can work less, make more, and feel really aligned doing it. And then you get to lead your team into also doing the same thing. Now, one of the books that completely started to shift how I run my business is Do Less by Kate Northrup. Kate talks about cycling living, how our bodies aren't designed to go full speed all the time. She teaches that real productivity comes from aligning with your energy and not pushing past it. This, for me, recovering, I am a recovering perfectionist, and also my entire subconscious felt like, and I had to really work on this of not being an over producer and working until I couldn't anymore just to feel like I was worthy of it. Okay. So I had to work through all of those thoughts, before I could really take in what Kate was saying. So when I read this, it really did hit me hard. I had been measuring my worth by how much I could produce. But the truth is, rest is a part of the work. What I took from Do Less wasn't just permission to rest. It was a strategy to grow without burning out. I started syncing my creative tasks with the times where I felt more focused, more alive. I took real breaks without the guilt. I let go of services that drained me, even if they made me more money. And truthfully, I took real time without feeling really bad about it. And I would just sit. I would sit in a chair and just dream, or really start to plan out things. Because I realized, for me, if it didn't look like I was actively busy, I was doing something, there was a tangible thing for me to be able to turn in at the end of my time that I was working, I felt like I didn't do anything. But one of the things that has brought me so much joy, and it has allowed me to feel just so expansive, it allows me to dream bigger, is sometimes just sitting there taking the time to just be creative, to think about things, to schedule in time to just see how I really wanted, my new services, or how I wanted the website to look. Just that time to breathe and dream. And in those times, I may not be doing a whole lot and I may not have a whole lot to show for it, but it allowed me to think differently. So when I did go do that task, if it was rewriting the website, or if it was creating new services, I had that time to really think about how it all looked before I sat down to actually put it all on paper or to create the website. And I made less mistakes, and it took me a lot less time to actually get that project or task done because I had already thought through what I wanted, how I want it to look, even though I didn't do any of it yet. And that made such a big difference for me. Because if I did that before I really started to implement this in my life, I felt like I had done nothing and like I had wasted my time, that I should have just been doing the website. I hope this is making sense, because it was such a big shift for me, even though it sounds like a simple thing, right? But it made a big difference in the way that I actually was able to work on things. And even if I had maybe, doing the website scheduled, if I wasn't in that creative space or in that energy of getting it done, if it didn't have a really big timeline, I would shift things around so that I knew when I had that creative burst or my ideas were flowing. And it just gave me that permission to be a little bit easier on my schedule, because I felt like everything either was free flowing or it had to be really strict and by the books. And this gave me a little bit of wiggle room. And the result of all of this was having more clarity, more presence, and more profit. The book really taught me to trust that I could do less and still create more. This is nervous system wealth, the ability to lead from regulated alignment and self-trust. So this is what I want you to do for this next week. Take a look at your week. Just do an audit. I have another mentor, and she had me do a full 15 minute by 15 minute audit of my week. And this was a really big eye opener because I thought I was so busy. Again, I felt so overwhelmed and like I had no time to do anything. When I broke this down and I did an actual time audit of my week, I was shocked at how much time I actually, if I really put my mind to it and stopped scrolling or just mindlessly doing things, that I really did have time to do whatever I wanted, right? Whether that is doing something for me or being able to really add another piece of the business on, whatever that looked like. After doing this time audit, it was shocking. I saw that I had a lot more time than I believed I did. Okay, so I want you to do that time audit, and then I want you to pick one practice to support your nervous system, whether that is a slow morning ritual or a quiet 5-minute break in between clients, or one boundary that you have been afraid to set. And I want you to notice what shifts when you start to protect your peace. Remember, your salon grows from the state of your mind. So if you first regulate and then you build second, that's going to give you a better result. So if this episode resonated with you, I want you to know you are not weak for needing rest. You are not too sensitive for needing space. You are powerful for choosing sustainability over burnout. Let's normalize nervous system safety in the salon industry so that we can have more peace in our success. Be present for your business. The most sustainable thing you can do is build the trust within yourself. And I will see you next week for a big episode. We're going to talk about what happens when you strip back the noise in your salon. Oh.